Good evening. My name is Frank, and I'm an entrepreneur. At least I'd like to think I am. And the reason why I chose to become an entrepreneur is evident on the next slide. We count. And we count. Back pain. The reason I chose to start a couple of companies is because I don't want to suffer from back pain. See, this is the typical theory of evolution. You start off as a monkey, and then eventually you grow and you grow and you grow, and then you finish school, you get a job, you start paying a mortgage, and then you end up, well, dead. So I'd like to introduce a concept of choice. You know, why do people choose to start their own businesses? Why do people choose to step out of their everyday lives to follow and persistently follow an idea through to success? Well, it starts off with a business plan. You have a great idea, and what characterizes an entrepreneur is persistent failure. And you fail until you reach a way that works. Now, Thomas Edison said that, you know, I didn't fail, I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. Well, that's the business planning process for you. And hopefully, if you have a good plan and you don't have to go back to the planning stage, you have something that's capable of growth. Now, growth is somewhat of an illusion because a lot of people think that growth is measured in profitability, and it's not. Growth is measured in how many people that you affect, how many people, how many problems can you solve as a company, as an organization, as a partnership, or for some people it's all about the money. Well, this slide is not about becoming rich, it's about controlling your expenditure. Another aspect of being an entrepreneur is that you have, well, limited financial training, and you don't really know where the money's going. And eventually you grow, and you have, let's say, a very large company like Apple. It's legendary. Everything from, well, not only do they have a penchant for naming everything with an I, they occasionally make cool products. But this idea of competitors, I mean, it's too big. But I want to bring it back down a little bit. I'd like to introduce the concept of the I fail. So you have the iPod, the iPad, even the Toyota iGo. Now this is the I fail. Now you come all the way back to basics. You flip a switch, and you go back. You're broke. You're a student. You're 20 years old. You have no equity. You have no credibility and an even larger lack of credit. So where do you start? Who's going to listen to you? Who's going to take your ideas seriously? Well, hopefully you find a book. A book that really teaches you how to make a cash flow forecast, or finding some way of creating a financial plan, some way of grounding your idea and demonstrating to the bankers and the lawyers of this world, the bean counters and the, well, there's a Dutch word, it begins with M, something, ant, but they, you got to show them where the money is before anybody will give you startup capital. And I've been bankrolling my first business with part-time jobs, pulling everything from websites to, well, as you can see, I don't want to end up like this guy, but I could. Instead, I ended up like this guy. This is so conducive of the networking scene in Maastricht. 70% of business in Maastricht is done in a bar, and I started off as this guy. No, the brother-in-law of a friend. He's sitting at the bar. His father owns a. He could be a potential supplier, or the lady smoking a cigarette next to you. Maybe she can stamp a loan for you. But no, you have this one brilliant idea, and everybody has good ideas. You know, there's no such thing as a stupid question. There are only stupid answers. But a brilliant idea has to be both a brilliant question and a brilliant answer in itself. And when you take an idea and you play around with it, you get past the brainstorming session, you get past the planning stage, and you actually start doing something with it, you get into the experimentation phase, it's trial and error. This is where failure really is not that big of a deal. because you have to experiment. You have to find out what works. You know, nobody hits it their bullseye the first time round. You really have to feel you have to feel what works and what doesn't work until you create a prototype that looks as complicated as this. And then with this great idea, with this working concept, for example, you then have to generate a bit of buzz. You know, I laugh at people who don't cherish the importance of online networks, both social media and professional networks like LinkedIn. If only your mother-in-law knows about your idea, then it's not much good. You really have to spread the word. People have to know about your business, or people have to know about your concept. And then when you tell enough people about your idea and enough people about your product or your service, you make it up to the boardroom, the big guys, the people who are all sitting there thinking, great, not another one. But they did. I made it past the Dragon's Den. I started a software company with a friend of mine. It's called Genesis Project, and we started manufacturing and developing a prototype for an encryption device. And this is new. Yeah, God, I'm getting really bad at this. And the second business that we ended up, two more partners in the local football stadium. It's a co-working facility inspired by Seats to Meet, and we decided to call it Bounce Space. But this picture here, the two people, this is one of my favorite pictures of all time, because it says, what can you do with all of this space? And my problem now, as a young entrepreneur, apart from timing, it's about finding balance in my life. Like this guy, I don't know whether he's riding a bicycle or whether he's made a trip to the coffee shop or something. But the point is that you have to start something. Entrepreneurship is about starting something. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, because you will find a way that works, and you will find a way that works well. And hopefully, everybody in this room has some sort of influence, a little bit of money, a little bit of a reputation, some credibility, or well, just start something. Share it. If you can't share, then, well, you're not an entrepreneur. Thank you.